Hey guys, so for my presentation, I did Journalism in the Digital Age and the Invisible Competitor. And the invisible competitor is a technology called artificial intelligence, better known as AI, which we're all very familiar with. But in journalism, AI is more than just a piece of technology. It's become part of the labor force, as it's become so advanced that it can process tasks that were traditionally reserved for human journalists. And in doing so, it's created less of a need for human journalists because you don't have to pay AI. So while AI is already looking to replace some aspects of journalistic workforce by humans, it has now also become capable of directly attacking human journalists. Last year, when journalists began to uncover links of one of Monsanto's chemicals to causes of cancer, Monsanto used AI to get a backdoor deal done with Google that promoted articles that discredited the ones that were exposing their chemical. So that's not only dangerous to journalists, but that's dangerous to the public because it clouds information with misinformation. It's pushing articles that were not accurate to the top of the Google search results to undermine the human journalists that were exposing their chemicals. And even a woman who wrote a book about it named Carrie Gillam, she actually came out and, spoke about the things that were being done to her credibility because of Monsanto's deal with Google. And it illustrates a circumstance that could have a major effect on journalism and a major effect on the public in a war of information, because accurate information, I think, as we all know, is not the easiest thing to find these days. Now, obviously, for that example, AI is looked at in a very negative light by journalists and in the journalism field, but it has a lot of potential in the field for good things too. For the most part, AI has been a tool for journalists. It has been a tool to eliminate certain tasks that would otherwise take up a journalist's time, like, example is automatically scanning the web for information, versus a journalist having to go out of his way to find that trivial information. This leaves the journalist with more time to find, critical information that only a human is able to do through communication and relationships and stuff like that. And it allows for journalists to focus more of their time on the core of their job versus the minor details that AI can automate, like producing automatic digital briefs. That's something. But it does go deeper than that too, because there have been some very, very impressive uses of AI that completely eliminate the need for a human. For example, in 2016, the 2016 congressional election, the Iowa's 5th congressional district's election was covered entirely by an AI, which not only produced a brief on the outcome of the election, but it also related it to the other elections going on that night and how this would affect the balance of the House and Congress and everything. And this was called Heliograph, which debuted a year earlier as the most technologically advanced AI in the history of journalism. So if AI is already able, and this is 2016, if AI was already able to completely cover an election, then how long is it going to take for an AI to win an award? The Pulitzer Prize for journalism. Is it possible? Now, obviously the judges probably wouldn't consider that, but when you consider some of the advantages AI has over a human, then it's not impossible to think that the work an AI is capable of producing might be worthy of the criteria that the Pulitzer judges look for. Now, there's some things that an AI will never have that a human does. There are things that can be programmed in it, but a natural and flexible sense of ethics and empathy, which is very critical to journalism. And there are some things that we would think an AI would never have. For example, the ability to physically speak and communicate like a news anchor would, But that is no longer the case, as in China, they have invented the AI news anchor, which completely eliminates the need for putting a human being in front of a camera to deliver the news over a TV broadcast. So, how will journalists survive the incoming AI renaissance in their industry? Well, the most important part is to maintain their advantages that AI will ever have, and that being human thought. Because human thought is different from AI processing in the way that it is subjective. A human's thoughts will always be subjective as they try to be, but it is natural for a human to have an opinion, and that can help them survive and compete with AI because opinions, they resonate with people. And also, AI is going to make it into their newsrooms one way or another. So they're best off being willing and ready to embrace AI.